1850s America. Lands scorched beneath the sun, the absolute peak of cotton, and times when a human life meant nothing.
I have nothing.
Time did not flow in these vast, endless fields.
What do I do?
The heat was so intense that even touching the soil burned your hand. In that heat, the only sounds heard were the cracks of whips and pleas for mercy.
You worthless piece of trash! I'll teach you a lesson!
For Aaron, life was merely about existing, until that afternoon.
Hol's der Teufel! Komm her! Bitte nicht, Master!
Disproportionate power has no limit, so you never know what level it might reach. That day, the master, arriving at the field drunk, had combined his power with his intoxication and wanted to turn Aaron into entertainment. But arrogance is man's deadliest enemy. The blow he intended to strike Aaron tripped over his own feet by chance, and he fell into the mud right beside the slaves. In that moment, not only was his suit soiled, but his invincibility cracked as well. What was read in those eyes was not shame, but the very hatred that would come at midnight. A hatred for which the innocent pay the
Pay
price.
for this. Tonight.
When night descends upon the fields like a shroud, fear changes shape. That pale lantern light seeping through the wooden walls of the barn was the harbinger not of salvation, but of disaster. When Aaron heard the creak of the door in the silence of the night,
He's here!
he knew his end had come. The master had come to cleanse the humiliation he suffered during the day with blood. Dragging Aaron with drunken rage, he took him to the most desolate corner of the field, to that dark spot where there was no civilization and no witnesses. This was an execution march.
Keep moving, you dog!
The earth was cold, the night cruel. When Aaron knelt, standing before him was not just a rifle barrel pointed at him, but the tangible form of centuries of oppression. The final gaze of a man left with no choice but to pray, locked onto the pale moon in the sky. That moment, thought to be the end of everything, was actually the moment everything began anew. History sometimes changes course, not with great explosions, but with a small act of forgetfulness. When the master pulled the trigger, instead of the deadly blast that would tear through the silence of the night, only a metallic, dry sound was heard. Click.
Why isn't it firing?
The mind, blinded by alcohol and arrogance, had forgotten to load a bullet into the chamber. That brief moment of bewilderment was worth a lifetime for Aaron. Fear gave way to a pure instinct for survival. The prey had now turned into the hunter.
What are you doing?
When that frail young man awakened the giant within and lunged at his master, he floored not just a man, but the fate imposed upon him. With the
Get off me! No! You will obey me now!
rifle now in his hands, he could have pulled the trigger and killed that tyrant. But Aaron chose justice, not violence. That single shot fired into the air was not a murder, but a declaration of freedom. As the master fled into the darkness, it was no longer a slave standing in the field, but a free man.
Have mercy! No, don't! Please, no! You loaded, slave. Put it in. No more! We are free! Please, Aaron, no!
Courage is contagious. When Aaron returned to the barn with the smoking rifle in hand, that rusty lock on the door was not just an iron barrier. It was the symbol of the shackles placed on their minds. When he shattered that lock with the butt of the rifle, he also tore down a wall of fear built over centuries.
God have mercy!
What was that?
Quiet!
I told you I'd be back! Aaron!
Those people, waking in the darkness of the night, saw before them not a fugitive, but a leader. Hesitation gave way to hope. There was no turning back now. That crowd spilling from the barn left behind the fields where torches and the sounds of dogs were approaching, and plunged into the ominous yet protective arms of the forest. Thorns, mud, and exhaustion. None could suppress the hunger for freedom. They were mere shadows running toward the dawn. But with every step, they were becoming a little more human.
Keep running! They're gaining on us! Push through! We're almost there! Move! Faster! Move!
And finally, where the forest ended, the river, where hope began, appeared. Water does not only draw borders. Sometimes, like a baptism, it washes away the filth of the past, the dust of slavery, and the suffering endured. When Aaron and his people entered the freezing water, their old lives were already left on the opposite bank.
Water! We found it! We're finally here!
Standing in the middle of the river, Aaron slowly let go of the power in his hands, that rifle, into the water. Because true freedom lay not in holding a weapon, but in living with a dignity that has no need for one. As the weapon was buried in the depths, the sun was rising on the horizon. Those first golden lights hitting their faces heralded not just a new day, but a new era where they would exist with their own names and their own wills. The story that began in darkness would now continue in the light, toward an endless horizon.